Daubond's two-part adhesive system is a key ingredient to helping companies produce superior quality manufactured products. Mixing and applying it the right way means many years of enjoyment for your customers. Out of the box, a kitchen door like this might look perfect. Put it in a kitchen, though, where there's heat. And over time, not so great. Nearly all manufacturers of membrane press adhesives have a single-part adhesive system, not Daubond. Simply, we believe single-part adhesive systems are inferior to two-part systems. Inferior quality hurts the company that manufactured the part, and hurts the industry. Here's why. Over time, a product like a kitchen door is subjected to heating and cooling, heating and cooling, heating and cooling. Materials expand when heated, contract when cooled. Sooner or later, the vinyl can start to shift. With the adhesive used in the door being heat activated, the heat from something like an oven, even a hot tractor trailer, can break the bond. If the adhesive has a low heat resistance level, like that of a single-part system, it's even more likely that the bond will break. A two-part system has a hardener that you add at the time of production. This is what you add when you mix the two parts together. Single-part systems have the hardener already mixed in. Trouble is, the hardener also causes the adhesive to age. Aging affects the finished product's ability to withstand heat. A key advantage of a two-part system is a wider operating window. When the part is pressed, it doesn't need as much heat to achieve a good bond and high heat resistance. This is why Daubond only manufactures two-part adhesive systems for thermoforming. The goal? To never sacrifice the reputation of our customers by releasing a single-part system which we consider to be inferior. Daubond is committed to the industry and the highest quality products available. Two-part adhesives offer superior heat resistance in the finished product. They require lower activation temperatures needed in production, and they result in superior overall product quality. That's the advantage of two-part systems, and that's the focus of Daubond's adhesives product line for thermoforming. Before you begin, you will need the right mixing equipment. That is, a drill press type mixer, an electric drill, or an adjustable speed air motor. Next, you'll need a mixing paddle. Or better still, a squirrel cage type mixer like this. Be sure your equipment is clean before you start. You'll also need a drying rack. And of course, spraying equipment. Daubond recommends a high-volume, low-pressure system, known as HVLP. Ideally, this system will have a separate pot for the adhesive, and it has two regulators. The parts you spray should be on a pedestal like this, so you can reach the entire edge with the adhesive. This is key. Your spray area must be well ventilated. Wear a respirator if ventilation is poor. And for personal safety, always wear gloves and safety glasses. These guidelines apply to single-part systems as well. Your company will produce the highest quality products if you follow a few simple guidelines. On a timeline from mixing to cleaning up, mixing is the only step that pertains only to two-part adhesives. All others apply to single-part systems as well. Select your choice for details. Two-part systems begin with the base adhesive. Daubond produces two types, 6477M and 6493A. Part B is the hardener. You mix this into the base adhesive. This is what gives the adhesive greater heat resistance and bond strength. The hardener you'll use is product 6429B. Mix 5 ounces per gallon of the hardener to either 6477M or 6493A. The mixing amounts are the same for either base adhesive. If you have a vacuum former or positive pressure machine that operates without the membrane, we recommend 6477M. This adhesive has a lower activation temperature, which gives you a wider operating window for this type of press technology. If you're using a membrane press, then we recommend using 6493A. In a membrane press, the vinyl and the membrane come down, delivering more heat, so you can use a higher activation adhesive. Mixing is simple. Start the mixer in advance, and slowly pour 5 ounces of the hardener for each gallon of base adhesive you're mixing into a mixing pail. You want to create a whirlpool, called a vortex, that draws the hardener down into the base adhesive. This mixes it more thoroughly. Lower the mixer deep enough to keep from whipping air into the mix. You want a stream about the size of the tip of a pen. Don't just dump the hardener in, it won't mix properly. The slower the pour, the better. Here's a tip. For a 1-gallon mix, poke a small hole into the bottom of a 5-ounce cup, like this. Just the right stream amount. The vortex should draw the hardener in. After you pour in the hardener, continue mixing for another 5 minutes. Poor mixing lowers heat resistance and makes for weaker bonding. Even trimming and handling are more difficult. After mixing, pour the mixed adhesive into the pressure pot. It's best to use a filter like this, found at most any home improvement store. A filter will keep debris out, screens hardener that might not have mixed completely, keeps your sprayer cleaner, and gives you a better spray pattern. After filling the pressure pot, fasten the cover to the pot and make sure all air lines are attached. Now you'll need to adjust the pressures using 2 regulators. One regulator controls the amount of pressure going into the pot. The other regulator controls the atomization pressure to the gun. This turns the adhesive into a fine mist. Set the pot pressure at 10 to 20 psi. Set the atomization pressure at 45 to 65 psi. These pressures will create the right spray pattern for an even coat. To keep your spray gun from clogging and clumping at the tip, leave the needle as wide open as possible and the pot pressure at no more than 20 psi. Control the flow of the adhesive with just the pot pressure. No matter what type of sprayed adhesive, set up your parts so you can access them easily from your spray booth and the pedestal you put them on. Depending on the temperature in your plant, the adhesive works best when it is sprayed and pressed within approximately 4 hours of mixing. Place the part on the pedestal with enough overhang so you can spray the entire edge. Spray the edges at least twice. That way you'll be sure you have the right amount of adhesive on the surface after the adhesive dries. Spray by starting and ending after passing the edge. Pull the trigger before the edge and move across, then let go of the trigger after you pass the edge. If you release the trigger too soon, you won't get enough adhesive on the corners and edges. To spray surfaces the right way, go for a fan of about 4 to 6 inches. This lays down a nice even spray pattern. Single coating the surface is usually okay, as long as you spray perpendicular to the surface. Pay special attention to the profiles and the angles of your spray. For example, a simple profile like this won't have adhesive coverage in the red area because of the spray angle shown. Another example. Too little adhesive in the red area. Profiles like this often have too much adhesive on one side and not enough on the other. Always spray at right angles or perpendicular to the surface. Keep the gun about 8 to 10 inches from the part when spraying. Spraying too far away can cause the atomized adhesive to start to dry before it hits the surface. This can leave a rough texture on parts. Spray too close and you can get too heavy a buildup of adhesive and striping. Buildups can even show through the vinyl. After spraying, put the part on a drying rack by picking it up from the bottom. Touching the surface can remove adhesive or leave an imprint that could show through the vinyl after it is pressed. Be sure you place parts on the rack from top to bottom. If you stack them bottom to top, you could drop debris down onto parts below. Dry time is 20 to 30 minutes depending on the humidity. Always spot check parts after they have dried to be sure adhesive has not soaked into the board too far. There needs to be enough adhesive to provide a bond across the entire surface, especially the edges. MDF is most porous in the center, meaning it soaks up adhesive here. That's why a gloss check is important. If the part is glossy on the top edge and on the bottom edge, but not in the middle core, then the adhesive has soaked in too much. Always check the gloss before pressing. Look for gloss on the edges and in profiles. If parts don't have enough adhesive on them, you can recoat them. That's an advantage of sprayed adhesives over a pre-applied adhesive. You can target the amount of adhesive where you want it and reapply it where you need to. The ideal temperature for pressing is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. That's in your press room and on the materials. A non-contact thermometer like this will give you a material temperature check. Cold materials, including PVC and parts right out of the warehouse, won't bond well. Press cycle times are important, especially the preheat. That's because you need to have the right amount of heat to activate the adhesive. Check it before you actually run the press or with the first press cycle. A temperature strip like this is a good tool. Put one on the edge and face of a part and run it through the press. Then check the temperature strip to see if the adhesive line temperatures are within the recommended range for the adhesive. Temperature strips are set up in 10-degree increments, usually from 130 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. If your temperature reading is less than what is recommended, the press operator will need to adjust the press settings. Check with your press manufacturer and your Daubond rep on the temperature settings. They vary depending on your press. Too low a preheat setting and the adhesive won't activate. Too high a temperature and you can damage the vinyl during pressing. Spacing of parts on the press tray is important. If parts are too close to each other, the vinyl won't stretch down far enough to the bottom edge of the part. We recommend at least 3 inches from the edge of the tray and 2 inches between. These are approximates. Put each part on a pedestal. The part has to overlap the pedestal enough so the vinyl overlaps and bonds to the bottom edge. It's a good idea to spot check finished work at the beginning of the day when it's coolest. The quality of the bond will be affected by the temperature. A pull test checks for green strength. Right after pressing, cut a 1-inch strip off the edge of a part and slowly pull it back. Check the adhesive coverage on the strip. If the adhesive coverage is right, you'll see the adhesive attached to the vinyl all the way down to the edge of the part. This shows good adhesive coverage. This is bad. The adhesive does not cover the full part. As temperatures change over time, the vinyl can shrink and expand, and eventually the bond will break at the bottom edge. A pull test before you run the press will help you make corrections before it's too late. A heat resistance check will give you facts about how much heat resistance your finished product has. Daubond engineers put the part in a test oven to see at what temperature the vinyl releases from the part. Let Daubond assist you if you have questions about final part heat resistance. It's important to keep your spray gun clean. It's best to clean it after you're finished spraying for the day. Completely flush the system out with water and a non-ammoniated cleaner like dish detergent. Fill the sprayer pot with water and the cleaner. Then hook up all the lines and close the pot. Turn the atomization pressure to 0 and the pot pressure to 45 psi. Now just shoot the water out to flush the lines until the liquid is clear. Here's a tip. Spray the liquid into a trash bag filled with sawdust. When dry, you can safely throw the hardened sawdust away. Most landfills approve of this method, but check with your local authorities to be certain. It's important to clean up daily. Not cleaning up at the end of the day risks replacement of spray equipment. Maintain a clean press room by keeping racks and pedestals debris-free. Clean the mixer paddle or squirrel cage too, so you don't contaminate future mixes. Mixers that are not clean are not as effective in creating that all-important vortex. For a truly superior end product, press room machinery, adhesive, raw materials, and the manufacturing process must come together. Each type of machinery has different characteristics. From preheat times and temperature settings, to the pressures that are applied and more, all affect bond strength and overall product quality. The adhesive you choose should be matched for its bond strength and the heat resistance you require. The raw materials you use need to be matched up with the right laminates, for thickness, heat resistance requirements, even the profile of what you're manufacturing. Which of course means matching the right manufacturing process to the raw materials, adhesive, and the final finished product. All are interrelated. All come together with Daubond expertise. No company except Daubond offers the ability to match just the right materials, machine settings, adhesives, and final manufactured product to the level of quality that we do. It's perfectly simple. Daubond means value. Information sheets about each of our products are available online. Click on the box to access our website.